I'm Heather, 62, sitting in my garden on this crisp October morning, watching the leaves change color on the oak tree my late husband, George, and I planted for our son, Ryan's 12th birthday. I can't help but reflect on the past 6 months. It's been a journey of betrayal, forgiveness, and self discovery. 6 months ago, I was on the verge of signing away my husband's inheritance, completely unaware of the elaborate scheme that was being woven against me. I remember walking into the law firm, feeling a mix of anxiety and eagerness to finally close this chapter after George's passing 3 months prior. It all started when I received a call from Thompson Partners, George's law firm, at exactly 9 a.m. The woman on the phone, with a cold and professional tone, informed me that they were ready to proceed with the estate settlement and asked if I could be there at 2 p.m. that day. I agreed without hesitation. After all, George and I had discussed his will many times over our 40-year marriage. I chose my emerald green dress, the one George always said made my eyes sparkle. As I clasped the diamond pendant he gave me for our 30th anniversary, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. The woman looking back at me seemed older, more worn down by grief than I remembered. The drive downtown was a nightmare. Traffic was bumper to bumper, and I found myself nervously drumming my fingers on the steering wheel. I pulled into the parking garage beneath the law office building, my hands trembling as I turned off the engine. The cold, concrete walls felt like a prison. Just as I was about to enter the elevator, a man in his late 50s, wearing tattered clothes and with unkempt hair, approached me. His name was Carl. He said he used to work at Thompson Partners but was fired 3 weeks ago. Before he was let go, he overheard things about my husband's will. He told me that my daughter-in-law, Lily, had been in contact with some people at the firm. She was planning to alter George's will, telling everyone that I was mentally unfit to handle the estate. She had fake medical records and statements from supposed witnesses claiming I was confused and forgetful. At first, I thought he was a crazy man. How could he know so much about my life? But as he spoke, I started to notice little things about Lily over the years. She always seemed to whisper with Ryan when I entered a room, and she would steer conversations away from me during family gatherings. I entered the law firm's plush reception area. The mahogany furniture and expensive artwork that once impressed me now seemed like a trap. I was led into conference room A. Inside, 3 men in expensive suits sat on one side of the table, and Lily was on the other. When she saw me, a flicker of surprise crossed her face, but then she gave me that same sweet smile she'd been giving me for 7 years. The lead attorney, a tall, thin man with gray hair and cold eyes, gestured for me to sit. He said there had been some recent developments in George's will. He claimed George was worried about my health and had made amendments in his final weeks. They slid a folder across the table with supposed medical reports and statements. One statement said I had been confused at the grocery store and accused Ryan of stealing from me. I knew it was all lies. I had never been diagnosed with any mental illness, and I was perfectly capable of handling my finances. Just then, there was a knock on the door. Carl appeared, looking cleaner but still out of place in the fancy office. He said he had copies of the original documents, the real ones before they were altered. The room went silent. He pulled out a manila folder and showed me George's original will, dated 8 months ago, and the real medical reports from his doctor. Lily suddenly stood up, swaying slightly. She mumbled that she didn't feel well. Carl then revealed that Lily had been working with the attorneys to create false documents, forging George's signature and fabricating medical reports to make it seem like George questioned my mental capacity. The police were called. Detective Laura Brown, a woman in her 60s with sharp eyes, arrived. She listened as Carl explained everything. It turned out that Ryan's business had been failing for 2 years, and they were in debt up to their necks. Lily thought that by altering the will, they could use George's inheritance to pay off their debts. Ryan had no idea about the fake documents. Lily had been poisoning his mind, telling him little lies about me, like I forgot to turn off the stove or got lost on my way to the market. He had believed her because she was so subtle about it. The legal process was long and painful. Lily took a plea agreement, 2 years of probation, for 100 hours of community service and full restitution of the legal fees paid to the law firm. The attorneys received prison sentences. Carl's detailed documentation and brave testimony were crucial in their convictions. Ryan moved out of the house he shared with Lily 3 weeks after the confrontation. He's now living in a small apartment downtown, trying to rebuild his consulting business from the ground up. He's learned a hard lesson about trust and honesty. I've hired Carl as a part-time handyman for my property. He's living in this small shed behind the house. He's a good man who risked everything to do the right thing. As for Lily, I'm not sure if I can ever forgive her. What she did was calculated and cruel. But I've decided to let go of the anger. I'm not going to let her steal any more of my peace. I've reclaimed my life, and I'm just beginning the best chapter of it. Now, I'm curious about you who listened to my story. What would you do if you were in my place? Have you ever been through something similar?
Comment Bilo?
And meanwhile, I'm leaving on the final screen 2 other stories that are channel favorites, and they will definitely surprise you. Thank you for watching until here.